Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Giants. I'm Paul Dottino with Super Bowl champ, two-time Super Bowl champ, Jonathan Casillas. So glad you could join us today for the next hour to talk New York Giants football. Our phone number is 201-939-4513, 201-939-4513, or you can find us on social media using hashtag GiantsChat. Of course, as always, we're streaming live on Giants.com and the Giants YouTube channel. An archive of this show, if you're not watching us live, is available on the Giants Podcast Network, on Giants mobile app, podcast platforms everywhere, and at Giants.com/podcasts. And we come to you from the Giants Podcast Studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Jonathan, really good to see you this week because we just had a conversation with the coordinators this morning. The media did. And Michael Gabriel, who was the Giants special teams coordinator, finally got peppered, and I mean peppered, with questions about how great the Giants special teams unit has been this season. Of course, you know I've been preaching this now for a couple of months, and you and I even had a chance recently to talk about that. But one of the things that he specifically mentioned was the desire of Dane Belton, who leads the NFL in special teams tackles, to spend his offseason with the goal of being the best special teams guy in the league. How Nick Jones and Art Green are both foaming at the mouth practically. He didn't use that phrase, but he talked about their overwhelming energy on how they push each other. And basically, the thought was that these guys are so much into what they're doing. They're so forceful, so energized, put so much work ethic into it that it raises the entire special teams unit. I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think when you have a solid core of special teamers, you know, and it is led by Dane Belton, he's all over the film on special teams. You know, punt coverage, punt return, like whatever you want to say, any coverage unit, any unit that's kicking the ball, he's on the field. He's actively making plays. He's the PP on punt, which is the number one special teams play.
Personal protector, folks.
Personal protector, yeah. And he's down there making plays. Like he looks good. And Green and Jones, those guys embrace the role of playing special teams. The crazy thing about sports is, right, especially the NFL, everybody has roles on teams, right? The thing about special teams is there's no one that was drafted to play gunner. There's no one that's drafted to play R1 on kickoff. That's just the truth. They're wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, linebackers, safeties, right? And sometimes these guys that are playing, they're second, third string guys, they're not giving their effort. They're not sold on being one of the core guys on special teamers because they're not playing their real position, whether that's safety like Dane Belton or corner or receiver or tight end or running back. And you don't get the effort. You don't get the I'm all in on special teams. And I think you're seeing that this year, led by Gabriel and Dane Belton. Like, these guys are sold in. It is a third of the game, Paul. It is a third of the game. However you want to look at it.
You and I absolutely know that. It is a third of the game.
And your ability to have success on special teams goes to those core guys that play basically 3 or 4 special teams units, and they believe that they're the guys that are going to make a change and make plays and be the guys, the catalysts that help the special teams units to overcome whatever adversity that happens throughout the game. And now you're finally seeing guys really and truly bought in.
The other guy who he mentioned during the course of the conversation was Gunnar Olszewski, who is not only returning punts, he's also doing kickoffs. He's doing both now. Remember when he was first with the Giants 2 years ago, he only did one. Now he's doing both. And the funny part about it is the Giants have had a revolving kickoff returner next to him. Tay Banks recently has been really good at
returns.
it. Really good at it. I can't tell you the last time I remember the Giants special teams all around being at this high of a level. The reason I'm bringing this up, folks, is because the Denver Broncos universally have what I'm going to say universally. They're the number one defense in the league. Their numbers.
They're incredible.
Red zone.
Incredible.
Third down.
Pass rush.
Pass rush. They're the best in the league. So you got to find as many other ways as you can to try to even the table. Special teams is going to be one way the Giants can even the score. Now, why do I say that? Because I'm going to give you a couple numbers, my friend. Giants special teams, they are 3rd in kickoff return coverage, 4th in punt return coverage, 6th in kickoff return average, 22nd in punt return average, but that's only because Olszewski hasn't broken a big one.
Yep.
That would warp the average.
Oh, for sure.
And they would move up like 10 spots. Okay. The Broncos, for as good as they are, 32nd in kickoff return coverage.
Oh, wow.
Last in the league. Okay? Let me repeat that. Last in the league. 18th in punt coverage. And only 12th in punt return average and 14th in kickoff return average. Folks, I'm going to make this as simple as I can. Field position in this game.
And hidden yardage.
Is hidden yardage. Field position, hidden yardage for the New York Giants against the Denver Broncos will be a very important component to them try to pull off this upset.
Absolutely. And when you talk about the Denver team, throw out the record. They lost the 2 games that they lost by on last-second field goals. They weren't even trailing in the fourth quarter in those games.
No.
Like, this is a really good team. Not to say to throw out the London game, but that game was a little sloppy. But the thing is, even though it was sloppy, they probably should have lost, but they didn't. A team that understands how to win, even if they don't play their best, they commit some mistakes, and they're not scoring as much as they used to. The other team maybe moving the ball a little bit more. They always find a way to win the game. This is that team that the Giants are going against. Denver is the team that is going to play to the end of the game. Right, their pass rush is elite. Benito is leading the league in sacks, but he's not the only guy that's getting after the quarterback. I think they have the best cornerback in the league. I mean, he won defensive MVP last year in Patrick Surtain.
Correct.
And real quick, I saw a video. It was like something about Alabama, right? And they were showing like the college guys that are all in the NFL now. I didn't realize how big Surtain was. He was standing next to Xavier McKinney. And McKinney's no little guy.
No, he's not.
Not at all. He's like a normal-sized human being. Surtain made him look like a little kid. And we're talking about a cornerback. Surtain is huge, and his abilities are second to none. So the reason why Denver has been able to get after the quarterback so much is not so much on the pass rush. It's a lot on the defensive backs and how good and talented they are.
They play a lot of man
that they run. So this team is a very well-rounded team, very well-coached team, and Sean Payton. Bo Nix is young. He's going to make some mistakes, but he doesn't make the big mistakes, and he haven't really in his entire career. He's a guy that's really not going to – I don't know if this team is built to go down the field, but they're built to move the chains, to get first downs.
Nix is a very efficient QB, very smart QB, not a risk taker.
And that's the thing. If you play like a cover 2, when you play cover 2, it's basically designed to stop the deep balls, right? That's what basically cover 2 is designed for. Of course, there's a weakness up the middle, but then the check downs, that's when they become a valuable option. The lower underneath right. Now, this is where tackling comes in. Giants have to be elite tacklers against this team.
Yeah. Because
they're going to settle for the check down. They're going to settle for the underneath routes and settle for the run after the catch. The Giants have to do a good job in getting these running backs. Tight end, Evan Ingram, he's had 12 catches in the last 3 games. He's a guy I think they're starting to figure out, like, oh, this guy's he's still that guy. Like, he was a 4.4 guy coming out of college.
Yeah.
One of the faster tight ends we've ever seen in the NFL, and he's starting to get acclimated a little bit in this offense. So expect them to kind of have the dink and dunk game, but that means you have to be a great tackling team going against Denver.
Now, on the flip side to that, when I look at Denver's defense and the study that I've done in terms of their front and in terms of their secondary, their weakness is in the linebacking core. They don't cover very well. In fact, if you notice the Saquon Barkley wheel route that went for 47 yards and a touchdown, they isolated him on the inside linebacker Singleton, who was their leading tackler, and I believe he's top 12 in the NFL in tackles. He's a good player. But what they don't have, because they're constantly sending their outside linebackers upfield on the blitz, and their interior linebackers don't have coverage skills. So if you can get guys isolated on their backers, that's the Achilles. That's the bruise in this great defense. And as a linebacker, you could appreciate what I'm talking about.
Oh, 100%. And then if you look at Cam Scatterbo and what he's done, he's not had that many opportunities here in the NFL, but one thing that we raved about him when he first got here was his his pass-catching ability, right? Tracy was a wide receiver coming out of college. And Singletary, I got so much respect for Motor. I got so much respect for that man. Him basically getting, put to the bench and then him playing special teams, like, did it without, hesitation. had a couple great runs in the fourth quarter last Thursday. You know, he's a guy that he can add value. He is adding value to being a veteran presence in that running back room, helping Scatterable, helping the young Tracy, because Tracy's played running back for 3 years total. Now total. You know, Scatterable, of course, Scatterable is the scat man. You know, he is definitely a running back. He was born a running back for sure. That the way his head is, the size of his head, his neck shape. But,
he's got some linebacker in him,
but
too.
the receiving capabilities of him, I think, he hasn't really showed it yet. And I'm sure that the defensive coordinator and those guys over at Denver, like, hey, this guy is a receiving threat. They just haven't quite done it yet. But I do think that's where I have seen, like, they do have some, I wouldn't say weaknesses, because this is a pretty tight defense, but they have some vulnerabilities against coverage, not only against running backs, but also against the tight ends, where Theo Johnson, Bellinger, they've been becoming more of a focal point for Jackson Dart the last couple of weeks as well.
Well, I think when you look at the first half of the Saints game a couple of weeks ago, when the Giants ran a ton of double tight end, and both of those guys were catching short passes as the Giants went down the field, I think if I'm the Giants, I'm looking at those tight ends, and I'm looking at Tracy.
Yep.
Because Tracy, with his old wide receiver skills before he converted to running back, to me, that's the kind of guy who I want to isolate on linebacker, even more than Scatteraboo. Now, Scatteraboo's going to get his touches. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
But Tracy, last week he got very limited reps as they were bringing him back off of the shoulder thing. I think you could really take the wrapping off of him and get him coming out of the backfield against those backers. I like his ability. And again, the way Barkley ran the wheel route on Singleton, it was one-on-one. Wheel route up the sideline, Singleton had no chance. Yeah. You put Tracy on him and a one-on-one, he's going to burn him every time.
Yeah, and I like what you said. You said out the backfield, not just put him at receiver, split out. At the backfield where the linebacker is, that's about 15 yards of space. 5 yards for the linebacker, about 8 yards depth for the running back. That is a lot of space. Trust me, I know. That is one of the hardest things to do. And I used to guard Sproles all the time. Like that is very difficult to do with a lot of space like that. But I like what you said about having those guys, Tracy, Scatterable, Singletary, coming out of the backfield. It presents a lot of traffic, a lot of natural picks that can happen. And the Giants, against this defense, the Giants have to be multidimensional. And I'm looking at not how the Giants are going to get attacked by the defense, but how the Giants are going to attack their defense.
Yeah.
Because that's what you got to do. You can't just sit back and be behind the chains, and that's what the Giants have been doing a good job with. They've been in front of the chains. They've been getting very manageable third downs. Not too many second and longs because Scatterable doesn't go backwards.
No.
He doesn't go backwards. Even if he gets hit early, he falls forward. And that is tremendous when you go from a second and 8 instead of a second and 11. That's a huge difference, right? A tackle for loss versus a 2-yard gain.
Massive.
That's a huge difference. That makes it so much more manageable on third down. The Giants have been doing a really good job in having manageable third downs. How? First and second down success. And the ability to do things against this defense is to stay away from third and longs. Stay away from those long situations where these guys are elite pass rush. Nick Bonito is one of the best pass rushers in the league, and then you got Cooper. You got other guys that are adding to the party. It's not just him.
Now, Zach Gallen and Bonito are both tied for the league lead in quarterback hits. All right, so it's not just the sacks. Both of those guys can get after you and whack you in the backfield. But I think this is a very, very interesting point for me. You know how some of these elite edge pass rushers do a lot of flopping? Bonito doesn't. Bonito is going to be over your left tackle, like, I don't have the percentages, but it's basically 9 out of 10 times.
It's like, 90% of the time.
He's going to be sitting there against Andrew Thomas. Look, that is...
Who's been batting 1,000 since he's came back?
I mean, is that not the matchup that you're willing to take?
Absolutely. No, for sure. For sure.
So I don't want to say that the Broncos aren't going to be dangerous with their pass rush. Of course they are. They've got 12 different guys who have at least a part of a sack this year.
Yeah.
Because their scheming...
I didn't know it was that many guys. Wow.
Oh, their scheming is incredible. Yeah. They're constantly sending all different guys up to the line and mugging guys in and out all the time. You have no idea who's going to be coming after your quarterback. But I do like the fact that Bonito, in their scheme... He's pretty much isolated against your left tackle, and that's the one guy, if I'm the Giants, who I want in front of him.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Andrew Thomas has been playing lights out. Literally, I'm watching the TV copies, I haven't heard his name. And that's a great thing when you talk about offensive linemen.
Yeah.
No penalties, right? He's clean. He's not. I think he's 2 pressures since he's been playing.
Yeah.
I'll take that. So the defensive strength for Denver, their best pass rusher is going against the Giants' best offensive player.
And not just the Giants, but one of the league's best.
One of the league's best players. So I like that matchup, especially for the Giants. I'm concerned about the other areas, that they can bring pressure, like, backside. A young Scatable in protection. For me, they can. The thing is about young guys, sometimes you haven't seen some things. You know what I mean? And if I know Sean Payton like I do, he's going to throw some stuff at Dart and Scatable because they're so young that they've never seen before.
As a linebacker, though, let me ask you a question. And I want to get to the calls in just a minute, folks. I'm sorry, but I love talking about these X's and O's because this is what we do.
Yeah.
Off the air, too. We do this all the time. You're a linebacker. You take a look at the tape and you see what Scatable did to that linebacker 2 weeks ago when he absolutely put him on his butt.
Which one? It's so many. He did it a lot.
All right. He's trucked guys.
Yeah.
All right. And you see that. How much does that enter your mind when you're coming on that blitz?
All I know is I got to bite down on my mouthpiece and make sure my helmet is extra tight. So somebody asked me last week at the game, somebody was like, who's a harder tackle, Saquon or Scatable? I said, it's Saquon. No questions asked because he can do so much more. Right? He's so fast. He's so explosive. He can jump. He can jump over you. He can jump over you backwards. He can spin off you, which is a very hard thing to defend when somebody can time the spin as good as he could. He can stiff arm you. He's fast. He can run you over. Scatable, he's an easy tackle, or at least an easy hit. I don't know if I could get him down.
Okay.
But to go against Scatable is going to bring pain. It's going to hurt more to tackle Scatable. It's going to be harder to bring Saquon down, but it's going to hurt more to tackle Scatable. Scatable is the physical presence that I don't know if we've seen that in a long time from that position. Brandon Jacobs come to mind.
Sure.
And he was a lot bigger of a human being.
Yes.
But his mentality, Scatable's mentality, he likes to hit people. And I'm not talking about when he has the ball. At all times, in every play, no matter what position you play, he's going to hit you in the face. And that's his game. So as a linebacker going against Scat, I'm looking at my linebackers, hey, we got to bring it today. Maybe we do some extra neck machine this week. Maybe eat a little bit more, be a little bit heavier this week because Scatable is a guy. You saw what he did to Zach Bond.
Oh, yeah.
All pro, first team all pro.
Yeah.
Zach Bond ran him over twice in a row. One play, he basically threw him out of bounds, and the next play, he just ran through him for the touchdown. Like, that mentality that he has, I think the other guys, not just on offense, are feeding off of not just Scatable, but Dart. These guys are invigorating this team. I think the post, I think it was the Eagles game, the post press conference for Jackson Dart, when he basically said, we're not a part of the past mistakes of the Giants, the past bad teams of the Giants. We don't know about any of that stuff.
Dart's Giants are 2-1.
Dart's Giants are 2-1. They have a winning record, right? And no offense to Dexter, but Dexter's been here the longest, right? Out of everybody on the team.
Well, it's Slayton too.
And Slayton. So couple those guys together, right? They've been in the playoffs one time, won one playoff game, right? Besides that, it's been subpar 500, not even 500. It wasn't even average. They've been bad. Dart and Scatable, they're saying this is a new Giants team. That old losing stuff, that ain't with us no more.
Right.
And I think the young guys are invigorating the older guys on this team. And it's so good to see.
That's
you can feel it.
It's a great mix.
You can feel it. Even in the stadium, and I talked about this on Friday after the game, and I want to say it again because I love these fans, and I think these fans are fair. Right? I think these fans weren't expecting a good game to come out of, the Eagles versus Giants at home, right? So you saw the stands. The stands was what, 80% maybe, if that?
Well,
80% full?
I think the last two home games, the Chargers game and the Eagles game, I think not only was the percentage of the crowd going up again, the support of those people was also going up.
Yeah, they were definitely loud.
I said on the post-game show, I'm starting to sense a home field advantage again.
Yeah. And I think it's because they put out a good product. They won in some games.
There you go.
They won two games in a row at home. When was the last time that happened? Pearson, you got to get Schmelk on that, man. When was the last time the Giants won two home games at home?
He's probably typing it up right now.
2 games at home. Call in, Schmelk. I want to know the answer to that.
Hey, and final thought before we go to your phone calls, and I don't want to take too much time. I'm just going to say this very quickly, and I know you'll agree. J.K. Dobbins is a physical back. We talk about Scatterboo and what he brings to the Giants. Dobbins has brought that ever since he came into the NFL. No matter where he has played, he brings that. And that's what he does and is so critical to the Broncos offense, because when he gets that 4 or 5 yards on first down, instead of 2nd and 8, it's only 2nd and 5. And that allows Nix and Peyton, who's over there on the sidelines, to then be more conservative, less of a risk taker, and it allows them to control and to manage the game. So if you're the Giants and you know that Dobbins is a yards after contact guy, just like Scatterboo, you just said to me how great it is Scatterboo falls forward and gets those extra 2 or 3 yards. Well, Dobbins is doing the same thing.
Yep.
So if you're the defense for the Giants, you got the same mission that the Broncos defense has.
Exactly.
Don't let their power running game push you for extra yardage.
Yep. You have to do well on 1st and 2nd down.
Critical.
A lot of people, when you look at football, and it is true, 3rd down is crucial, very crucial to every single drive, right? Every single drive, whenever you get 3rd down.
It's the drive killer if you don't make it.
It's crucial. But what people don't understand, if you have success on 1st and 2nd down, your 3rd down becomes a lot more manageable. I wouldn't say easier, because 3rd and 1 is not, it maybe not as difficult, but I wouldn't call it easy. 3rd and 1 is still difficult. 3rd and 2 is still difficult.
It depends if you have an illegal play that people down south of the turnpike use. We don't have to talk about that this week. But when you have an illegal play in your back pocket, it does make it easier.
But the ability to have success on 1st and 2nd down, 1st and 2nd down, when you're preparing for the games throughout the week, right, you couple 1st and 2nd down together. 3rd down is a whole nother day of preparation, right? Because 1st and 2nd down, they have the similarities. You're basically a 50-50 run type of situation on 1st and 2nd down. Mm-hmm. Of course, depending on the yardage, that you have to get on 2nd down. But it's like a 50-50 type of deal. So in order for you to be a good 3rd down team, I think in the NFL, especially if you're not a big play type of team, you have to be great on 1st and 2nd down. And your ability to be able to stop those guys on 1st and 2nd down gets you into more manageable defensive 3rd downs. And I'm talking about a defensive guy, 3rd and 7 and long. Like, those are the situations you want to be in on defense. Offensively, those are what you're trying to avoid. And both teams have that. They have that recipe, and if they can do that, they will have success.
It's real simple. Both of these teams want to control the narrative and the tempo and the pace of the game by being as efficient as they possibly can.
I think efficiency is a great word to use. Yep.
That's really, they both are going to have the same kind of game plan. Both teams want their defenses to dictate the context of the game.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this one a real tug of war, and why I think it's going to be a 1-score game, a field goal right down to the final minutes.
Low scoring.
That's what I'm expecting.
I think low scoring too. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
201-939-4513. It is time we get to your phone calls, folks. I'm sorry we went a little long here, but we haven't had a chance to talk X's and O's for a couple of weeks.
Sure, indeed.
And we eat that up. Tim in Charleston, you are first on the program. Hello.
How you doing, Paul, JC?
Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. So a couple of things. One is, in the last 3 games, on our first 2 possessions, we have scored 5 touchdowns and only punted once. Now, in the Saints game, the second touchdown didn't come until the second quarter, and so last game we were able to get them both in the first quarter. But that's amazing. And after these last 3 games, especially, right after the Eagles win, I suddenly had a complete change in mindset from where I was looking forward in the schedule before that, trying to figure out what games we might be able to win. And now I'm looking forward in the schedule and saying, there's not a game on here that we don't have a chance to win.
Yep.
And that is such an amazing change in the mindset. And I think that's a reflection of the change in the attitude, the enthusiasm of this team. So, and as far as this game goes, I think, Paul, you already hit 2 of my 3 points, which is, 1, field position with special teams. We used to win that way in these tight defensive contests all the time, and I think we're starting to get back to that. The second and the biggest one for me always is, if we can keep them under 100 yards on the ground, I think we're in this game as long as we don't turn it over on offense. And even if we don't get a takeaway ourselves, although I think we will, even if we don't get a takeaway ourselves, I think that keeps us right there, like you said, Paul, to the end. And if we get a takeaway early, then we pick up a second one at the end to seal the deal. And I feel good about this game, and I'm looking forward to every game, being able to watch to the last minute of the fourth quarter for the rest of the season. And thank you guys for all that you do. You both do such a wonderful job. Love seeing you once a week, JC.
Good luck hearing from you, Tim.
I'll take the rest off the air. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. 201-939-4513. I'm going to throw out one other X factor here that cannot be ignored, and I hope it does not raise its ugly head in the game on Sunday. The Giants and the Broncos are two of the top 5 teams in the NFL in getting penalty flags thrown against them.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. These two teams have been magnets for the yellow laundry.
Yeah.
And I hope against hope that it's not a flag that winds up determining the outcome of this game.
Yeah. But and you saw what Tim said about how he's looking down the schedule and saying, like, hey, the Giants could basically compete in any one of these games, right? When I look at
when
a
they
team,
play their best.
Yeah.
Which we know what they're capable of. We've seen it during training camp. This is what they were capable of.
Yep.
But they haven't shown it consistently.
That's it. So when you look at a team that's like, all right, they're going to be competitive in every game. I think after the first 2 losses, it's like, all right, this season, it might be a long season for the Giants. But
at 0-3, it looked real bad.
Right now, how we're looking at this team, this is only a 2-win team after 6 weeks, right?
Right.
The team feels a lot different than that 0-2 team.
It feels like 2-1.
Yes, it does. The team feels a lot different. With that being said, when you have a good team going against another good team, right? Let's not get there yet, but I'm just saying, metaphorically speaking. Do you know what happens when 2 good teams play each other? The team with the least amount of mistakes, that's the team that usually wins the game. It's not always about, oh, he got the big play, he got this receiver over, he got this quarterback. No. It's about who made the most mistakes.
You played for Coach Coughlin. What was his mantra? More games in this league are lost than they are won.
Yep. So the Giants have gotten to the place now, it's like, all right, if you can manage the mistakes, you will be in every game. And there's no identity quite yet for the Giants. You know why? Because we don't know who Dart really is. Dart's still learning. We haven't seen his best. He's been playing pretty well. Mm-hmm. We've seen I think, one of his worst, maybe not the worst, because it's still a young season in the Saints game. Losing the fumble. Only person I expect to do something like that as a rookie, just losing the ball like that. You expect those things. My thing is, when you have a young guy like that, right, who plays just with this attitude, right, and this ferociousness and this, I don't care, right? I don't care. Like, I don't give a F. That's the best way to say it. Can't say it on here, guys, but you guys know what I'm saying.
A horse's butt.
Right, there you go. when you play like that, it's a little bit reckless, but people like me as a defender, like I'm watching this my quarterback playing out there, I'm like, bro, look at him, bro. Like, you just get inspired by that. But that doesn't mean he's going to be mistake-free. The mistakes will come with Dart. Young quarterback is only in his 4th start, right? He's 2-1. So he's only on his 4th start. We don't truly know the identity of the team because we truly don't know the identity of this quarterback and how he's going to be. As of right now, he's a young quarterback. I think we can call him a playmaker. Yeah. But since he's young, he's also a mistake maker, right? This is where the other guys on the team, like a Slayton, guys that have been around the league for X amount of years, this is where they need to start rising their play to help out with the mistakes of the younger guys. Because if you're playing young guys like a Drew Phillips all over the tape, but he also makes a lot of mistakes. You got to have guys like Holland and the guys that have experience to kind of make up for the younger guys that are making these mistakes, because you're not taking the young guys off the field.
No.
They're going to make those plays, but they're also going to make some mistakes. I think of it like this, right? Eli Manning, great quarterback, right? They argue him right now if he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think it's an argument. He's a damn Hall of Fame quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. I'll play for with 2 other ones. Eli Manning in 2016 threw some interceptions. Mm-hmm. Not one person on defense said, oh, man, he threw another one. Not one person did that. Every time he threw one, we would say to us, we got to go get it back. When you talk about complementary football, it's not just about offense, defense, and special teams. It's about doing things to help your offense out. You know how I can help my offense out? They just turn the ball over, get them the ball right back. Mm-hmm. When you have that type of mindset, especially with these young guys who you know is going to make some mistakes, Dart's going to throw another interception. He's going to fumble the ball again.
Sure.
The mindset has to be collectively as a team, let's go get it back. We got to get him the ball again. And once you start thinking like that, man, and you might have 2 turnovers, what if you have 3 takeaways? Now you're winning a turnover battle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have that type of mindset when you know you're going into a game with a quarterback that's not perfect. He's not perfect. He's going to make mistakes. His playmaking ability is I think second to none. But his mistakes, because he's so young, and because he really doesn't understand everything quite yet about how defenses rotate, how they mask things, how they bait you into certain things, because you're never going to see it until it happens. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't seen too many things quite yet. So all I'm saying is that the Giants team collectively, special teams included, offense included, you got to be able to counter those mistakes that are made by your younger players, because they're going to continue to happen.
I think one of the things that has helped him limit some of those mistakes early in his career is the fact that he did play for 4 years. Played at USC for 1 and then 3 at Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin and a bunch of guys who know all about pro football. Mm-hmm. That has helped him at this point to make the climb into the pros a little bit easier. Yeah. But as time goes on, there will still be some of those, as they say, rookies are rookies. Yeah. There's still going to be some things that are going to make you shake your head because that's the way it is. You can't avoid all of them. Yeah. But you can sometimes limit them. And Dart's done a good job of doing that. Victor in Brooklyn, you're next on the show. Hello. Welcome to BBKL. Fellas.
It's a breath of fresh air knowing you're getting competent QB play and a different threat. What a difference the offensive line is when you see Andrew Thomas there. He's a key to that line.
Yep.
For us, we have to win the line of scrimmage. We have to keep it a one-score, one-possession game. And the D-line has to stand up. And we also going to need Spider-Man because, to me, from week 1, he has been the best player on the field for the Giants. And once Dexter get his sea legs back and provide that pressure up the middle, and the rookie Carter are creating plays for the other players to shine. And you don't see his stats on the box score, but he's making an impact.
They're coming.
And Kayvon is having an excellent year.
Mm-hmm.
People notice Kayvon's having an excellent year, but one possession game, limit the mistakes, and take what the defense gives you. If the outlet is there, dump it off to Tracy and Scatterboo, who runs with his head on fire. But, he's young. It's like, you remember when you're 21, no one could tell you anything. So he has that testosterone. But Dart has to remember he has to stay on the field. So, Dart, don't be afraid to slide.
Right.
You get that first down marker, get the first down, tuck your head. Because these guys on Denver defense are going to try to give you a welcome to the NFL moment and lay a big hit on you if they can. But we have to keep it one possession game. And as you know, you guys been around the league for a while. Productive QB franchise type play gives head coaches and general managers extensions. But we all know a lot of them, success is riding on the growth and success of Dart.
Appreciate the call, Victor. Thank you so much. Call again. Julian in Florida. You're next on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Hello.
How you doing, fellas? Polly Dots, how are you?
Good to talk to you.
JC, man. Last time I saw a win in MetLife Stadium, okay, because I've gone to games, but haven't been winning much. But the last time I saw a win, 2016, 13-17, Giants on top of the Ravens, 14:55 left on the fourth quarter. Who comes in with the big stop?
Wait a minute.
Young JC, baby. Young JC, man. I remember that stop. I know everyone talks about that Odell going for 50 yards on that slant route, man, but what a great stop on your part, man. I always remember that electricity. So it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Same here, brother. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. A big. I love talking to you, and I talked to Sean O'Hara the other day, too, so this is a hell of a week for me as a Giants fan. But just wanted to tell you guys I'm here in Broward County, Florida, and this is what we're calling down here the Broward County Bowl. You got Pat Surtain, Plantation, Florida. Okay. Broward County. Brian Burns, Plantation, Florida, Broward County.
Mm-hmm.
You got Devin Singletary, FAU, Boca Raton, Broward County.
All right.
And then you got, of course,
Is that like
can't
Palm
forget-
Beach? That's like Palm Beach, right? Like West Palm Beach? West Palm? Up that way? Broward?
who, Singletary?
No, I'm just talking about Broward. Broward's like
Broward
West
is
Palm,
in
right?
between Palm Beach and Dade.
Okay, okay, yep.
So where the Hard Rock, where like the Hard Rock is and everything. So
Boca, yeah.
that's in between Dade and Palm Beach. And can't forget another Broward County person, Nick Bonito.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of people down here, we represent our Broward County people big. I live right next to American Heritage where Brian Burns is from, man. And, like, you know, there's a big sign outside that they're keeping the numbers and tracks of how many sacks he's getting. And it's
That's cool.
That's awesome.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, it's a small little county, but we rep these guys hard. By the way, Lamar Jackson and also Zay Flowers, Broward County as well. So,
Florida got the bad.
anyways, it's funny, man. Dots, I saw you on the Saquon documentary the other day, and I saw you just standing back there, and I was like, man, I wonder if Paulie Dots has watched this yet. But if you haven't, don't do it. It's heartbreaking. But
No, I have not seen it yet, and I did not know that I was making a cameo.
You did have a cameo. You should get some royalties on that, man. You look good.
Oh, golly.
I watched like 15 minutes of it at the barbershop.
Did
I
you?
got to finish
Okay.
watching it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, it opens up a lot of how he felt and whatnot, and I certainly didn't know that, but it is what it is, man. You know, we're moving on now.
That's
It's
it.
Saquon who, we got Scatterboo. The one point I wanted to make about this game is, and you know, actually, Paul, you kind of made it already, and I was going to bring this up, and I'll let it go off the air, but the Tyrone Tracy thing is a huge factor for this. Absolutely. You know, this Scatterboo thing is all over the internet. Everyone knows that this is the guy to stop. Dart on his feet, of course. But I was going to mention how weak they are. Well, not weak. It's just that there's holes at linebacker, and just Tyrone Tracy running those wheel routes and getting them out in the flats is such a – it's exactly what I was thinking too. So, Paul, you already kind of went in on that, but, you know, I'll let you guys go. JC, it's a pleasure to talk to you, man. Paulie Dots, as always, and go Big Blue, man. Let's get a big win on Sunday.
Well, thank you so much for the call, and appreciate you sending some of that Florida sunshine up here, because today in New Jersey, it is as bright as can be.
Yeah.
Not a cloud in the sky, but it is 57 degrees, I think.
The weather is so bipolar here. Like, it was beautiful yesterday. Yesterday was warm.
Yeah, yesterday
but
was
then,
better.
like, 2 days ago, it was so cold. It was
76 game time temperature in Denver on Sunday is what I hear. Gary in Pennsylvania, you're next on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Hello.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Hi, good to
bro.
talk to you.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller, long-time daily listener.
Well, thank you.
I'm a Giants fan that goes back to 1963.
Mm-hmm.
I had Y.A. Tittle's autograph when he was signing at Goldberg's department store in Rome, New York.
That's awesome.
That said, my attention is on Cam Scatterboot because I heard a lot of nicknames lately. So I want to share a little lightness here. So I'm going to share my slogan. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Scootin', skittin', scattin' about Scatterboot. Just put scattin' in the end zone.
Okay.
I don't think anybody would complain about that. As long as he winds up in the end zone,
right?
that's the only thing that matters.
And then and as an encore, he runs into the goalpost because he used to run into the telephone pole.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he is quite the character.
So one more time: scootin', skittin', scattin' about Scatterboo. Just put scattin' in the end zone.
Okay.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
Anything else?
You guys go. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
show.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. You know, it's funny, and I mean this, folks, 100%. Scatterboo on the field during the game, he's wound really tight. Okay, the energy is just like literally shaking off of his body. It's just he gives off such a vibe. But I've actually talked to him on post-game shows in the locker room, and sometimes even I get him on the field right after the game. And he's as calm and as cool as a cucumber. So composed, totally understands what's going on. It's not like he's in a frenetic kind of energized nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
But on the field, he is like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of, for me, it's quite a contrast because he's a really nice guy. Incredibly well-spoken, respectful, professional in every way. I quite frankly enjoy talking to him because he's a really good dude. On the field, though, he's like a madman.
He's a psychopath.
You know?
He's a maniac.
Which I guess
it's contagious, though.
And we've said this before. Every good team needs to have a couple guys who can flick the switch.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think most football players, especially like linebackers, running backs, right? We got a couple screws loose, right? He got a whole bunch of screws loose. but when you play the way he plays, and I could throw Dart in there too. He made a kind of a boneheaded play where he dove at a defender with his helmet. Like, that was crazy that he did that. But as a defender, and I'm looking at that's my quarterback. First of all, I'm like, yo, relax, number one, right? Mm-hmm. Number two was like, I like that. Like, you know, like you the football is a violent sport, and there's a difference between guys that go out there and I want to say try not to get hurt, but like they have a different mindset on taking care of themselves. And Jackson hasn't learned that quite yet, right? But his ability, I think, to threaten the defense, not just with his skills, but with his physicality, other players see that and they feed off of it.
Yeah.
You know, I seen Motor late in the game last week being as vivid, like as Scatterable was, and I don't remember Motor doing anything like that in years past. You know, I think these guys, they're like allergies. Everybody's catching it. Everybody's catching the fever. Everybody's catching what these guys are bringing to the table. Mm-hmm. And they talked earlier about Abdul Carter, because these are the three guys that are like changing this franchise, mm-hmm. right? He may not be statistically showing up, but if you watch any of the games that the Giants played and Abdul Carter was on the ball rushing the passer, he looks like Burns. He looks like Burns. Burns is finishing better, but his moves, his quickness, his gamut of his bevy of moves that he has, and his ability to get slim, his ability to resist, like right now the numbers aren't there, but it's second to none. And I think he's a guy that's being a catalyst on defense for those guys, because they see the type of way he plays, his natural physical ability, his ability to go ahead and put his hand on the ground and do creative moves. Like, I'm telling you, man, when you have guys like that, and you know, me being an older guy when I was playing here and they bring in a young guy, I'm like, man, that dude's good, man. I got to step my game up. Like, I think you're seeing that. And I haven't been part of too many teams where the young guys lifts everyone up. But this is what's happening here.
Yes.
It's the young talent that they drafted this year that's rising the level of play. And I haven't seen that. I don't think I've been in a team like that, but that's what's happening here. And it's such a uncharted territory. Like, a lot of Giants fans are like, they're coming up to me like, bro, like, what am I watching? Like, what am I seeing? I know it's not what I've been seeing. It's something new, but it's like uncharted territory, because you're seeing the leadership. And not that the Giants don't have leaders. They have great leaders. Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, Slayton, all those guys are great leaders. But something about these young guys and the energy that they bring into this team, I think is second to none.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you're talking about a team's roster and you point out those guys who are dogs, right? DAWGS, like we all understand. That's the athletic slang for a guy who's got that edge. Usually the guys you point out as dogs on a roster are older guys. Yep. They're not usually the younger guys. To your point, mm-hmm. I think that's maybe just the easiest way to say it. And this team is really, you're right, they're riding on the backs of this stuff, and it's really starting to raise all the boats. Yeah. You know, rising tide raises all boats. And that's also something Russell Wilson was preaching throughout the entire offseason. And I give Russell Wilson some credit for that too, because while he's not as animated as those guys, he has infected everybody in the building with preparation, focus, attention to detail, and a never-ending, relentless passion and desire to do what it takes to win. That doesn't manifest itself in a guy foaming at the mouth on the sidelines, or a guy jumping up and raising his fist, or, you know, shaking his head like crazy after he runs for a first down. You don't see that, but it's a mentality.
Last year, when the Giants were practicing against Detroit here, Giants practice for that Quest Diagnostic, I think I went to 2 or 3 practices, and I watched the young rookie Drew Phillips take on Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He's got it.
And when you when you have they're young pups, right? The dogs are the young dogs, right? The young dogs, they're young pups, right? These rookies, they're young pups, right? They don't really know nothing. They're peeing everywhere, or they're biting your shoes and stuff like that. You never know if your young pup is actually going to be a big dog or not.
Right.
If he's going to have that fight in him. You're seeing early on, Drew Phillips was the guy that showed me last year in training camp.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a vicious little pit bull right there, right? You don't have to teach him how to bite. He already knows how to do it. Now, when you have a guy like that, he's going to bite some people. So you got to reel him back a little bit, get a leash on him. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing a whole bunch of young puppies that are not afraid to bite.
Yeah. It's cool.
You got to have a leash. You got to get them leashed. You got to get them trained up. But at least you don't have to teach them how to bite.
Yeah.
How to go out there and fight, because they're born. They know how to do it. They came into the league fighters. And that's what you want to see from a team. You want to see a team full of fighters, a team full of people that are responding. And you're seeing that. You know, they had a Chiefs game, which, you know, they didn't play well. They responded against the against the Chargers, excuse me. And then the Saints game, they came out, first of all, they came out flying around in the Saints game early on. And then the mistakes happened, right? And then you watch how they responded again, that word again, against the Eagles at home. Now, I don't want to see them respond. I want to see them build. I want to see them build on what they showed last week. Because you can't have a good week and a bad week. Good week and a bad week. You can't do that. Good week and a bad week. Especially because you dug yourself in a hole to start the season 0-3.
See, the only redeeming value about the Saints game is the effort was there.
Yeah.
The fumbles were physical mistakes where they lost the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because they didn't show gumption.
Mm-hmm.
They showed it.
They did.
They had some fight in them, and they were putting out, and they moved the ball very well. But then they just kept giving it away. That was not because they were apathetic. That's not what we saw.
Not seeing that.
So if you want to take a silver lining out of that game, that would have to be it. Real quick, Run or Walk with Giants Legends. The Giants Foundation will host a 5K Racing Kids Run presented by Quest on Sunday, October 26th at 9 a.m. At MetLife Stadium. Net proceeds will benefit the Giants Foundation. Participants receive a commemorative T-shirt after the race. Stay for a post-race festival with appearances by Giants legends and a live DJ. Register now at Giants.com/5K. The Giants Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Also, the Giants Huddle podcast is up and active. Pearson, anything new that's going up there either today or tomorrow?
Yes, it should be up now, but Schmelk did an interview with Brian Hoyer. He talks about Jackson Dart and the matchup with the Broncos. That one's really good. So
all right.
Check it out.
And then also Giants season ticket memberships are available by going to Giants.com/tickets. You get all kinds of membership benefits, and you can stay connected to the team all year around.
And check out Giants Hangout, which Casillas was on as well. That went up yesterday.
And I also will be at the 5K run next Sunday.
Are you running?
Yeah, no.
Oh, come on.
No. I don't run. No, I'm just playing.
You could power walk like me.
I'll be if you're there, you're walking. I'll walk with you.
Yeah, but I got a road game.
I'm not gonna be here. I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's why they do
I
it.
forgot you actually have to work that day.
Well, when the Giants are away, that's why they do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it when there's a home game.
I agree.
All right, real quick. Dean from Minnesota, you're next on the show. Hello.
Yeah, hi guys. How are you?
Hi.
Right.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Great.
Listen, I have a simple prediction for Sunday's game.
Sure.
You know, the prediction is the team who will force more turnover will end up winning. And you know what? I think that was true for our previous two wins. I don't know if Paul has the statistic.
You are correct. That is true.
For the 2 wins that we won, and for the 4 wins for the 4 games that we lost, we did not prevail in forcing turnover.
You're absolutely correct. And that, according to Tom Coughlin, it's the most important stat you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Right. And I think from now on, in any future game, if we manage to have more forced turnover than the opponent, we have a good chance of winning all the rest of the games, in my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dean, I appreciate the sentiment. I will tell you this. If the Giants can continue to progress and show that they can put their best foot forward, if not every week, in most weeks during the rest of the season, you actually have a chance to even win games if you are even or even -1 in the turnover battle.
Yep.
See, that's what separates the really top-level teams, they can sometimes get away with
It can overcome
one of those games.
Yep.
When you are a lower-level team or even a team that's halfway in the quicksand, it's virtually impossible to overcome that stuff.
Yeah, especially when you go 0-5. Or you go 0 to 5. Yeah, not 0-5, but 0 to 5.
Yeah.
Not good. But
So
thank
I
you.
think the defense.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You had one more point. Go ahead.
I think the defense has to come up with big plays, and then for Dart and for the offense, if you have to choose between being sacked or throw an interception, take a sack.
Yeah.
Avoid first turnover. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think.
Appreciate it.
No doubt.
Not a bad idea. Thank you. 201-939-4513. We're going to try to get in one or two quick ones still. Ed from Rochester, you're next on the show. Hello.
Thanks, Paul and Jonathan, for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm a long-time listener. I haven't called in 3 years. There's been no excitement, but there finally is.
Well, thank you.
So I have a quarterback take, and I just want to throw this out there. Here's my concern. It is no disrespect to Russell Wilson. I'm a little not confident if Jackson goes out of the game for the rest of the game that Russell can help us win. And that's not on him. They've changed the offense to fit Jackson's skill set. And I think Jameis Winston fills their skill set in a better way. So I guess my question is, at what point do we elevate, if they probably won't do it, but I'd like to elevate Jameis at some point to number 2. And again, no disrespect to Russell Wilson, but I don't feel confident we can win a game with the way things have been set up recently, and I'd like to listen to what you guys say on that. That's all. Other than
thank
that,
you, Ed.
Giants, I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Appreciate the call. I'll give you one thing to kick off with, and then I want you to please delve into this. Jameis Winston, over the course of his career, has a strong propensity, as good as he can make some throws, of turning the ball over. One of the keys we just talked about for this Giants team is not giving the ball away.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, over his career, has rarely given the ball away. Now, I understand what you're saying about the style, right? I do see the Giants looking different offensively with Dart in the game than what they were doing with Wilson. But if turnovers are that much of a premium, if they're that important to you, as we all seem to agree, it would be very, very difficult for me to elevate Winston ahead of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with you with that too. First off, both of those guys are great locker room guys.
That's true.
I had a conversation with Jameis a couple weeks ago. I was doing something with Hispanic Heritage Month. I see him in the hallway. He was walking around, came and greeted the people I was with. And I told him, I said, bro, I got a picture of me and you on the field when I was playing for New York and he was playing for Tampa.
Do you really?
Yeah, and it's me standing over him. He's sliding with his big old eyes looking at me like this. He was like, oh, yeah, that's me. He's like, yeah, that's me.
Was it an almost sack?
It was, I think he was just sliding. He was just sliding. He broke out and he ran and he just slid right in front of me. But like his ability to kind of embrace the people that were there, embrace the locker room, when he came in and embrace being a third string quarterback, right? I follow Russell Wilson on social media. Russell Wilson was at Mount Sinai today visiting kids, or yesterday, visiting kids in a hospital. The reason why I'm saying that is because not only are they great football players, these are great human beings. So you got the Giants, they did a great job in securing the quarterback room before the draft. They got high character guys to play quarterback for the New York Giants. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. So I hear what he's saying, and it's really hard for me to speak on that. All I'm telling you is the guys that are backing up Jackson Dart are the highest quality men in the NFL. These are high quality men. Russell didn't have a good showing last week when he came in the one play that he did. Right. I understand the boos that come in because I understand these fans. I understand the people that come watch. If he would have completed the pass, they would have cheered. That's just how it happens. That's just what happens here, right? It's what have you done for me lately?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you talk about Jameis, I agree with you. Jameis is feast or famine. Jameis is going to throw you some touchdowns, he's going to throw it to the other team. I've heard defensive backs, professional guys in the league right now talk about Jameis in that way. Oh, he going to throw you something. he going to throw you something.
I mean, it is what it is.
And as we've been talking today, the guy that talked about the turnovers not too long ago, he's completely right. turnovers are the number one stat to show you if you're going to win or lose. Because if you scored 9 points, but you take the ball away 5 times, you're probably going to win that game. Mm-hmm. That's just what happens in the NFL. So I wouldn't be so quick to try to go with Jameis, because Jameis is feast or famine.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, the numbers this year don't look comparable to the numbers of his career. But Jameis,
Well, how did he throw the ball against Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, he lit it up. He lit it up.
And I know Dallas's defense has been habitually bad all season long, but that doesn't mean that Wilson needed to carve them up. He just as easily could have had a bad game, but he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. But throughout his career, he's always been, I wouldn't say conservative, but he's always protected the football comparatively a lot better than Jameis Winston. And I think when you're thinking about who am I putting in, I don't think you want to put in a guy that, he might get us a touchdown, but he might throw us an interception. Who can run the offense without having too many negative problems happen?
Right.
And I know it hasn't played out that way, but I think you're leaning more towards Russell.
Well, because the idea is that this is a defensive-based team.
Yeah.
Which means you want to minimize your offensive mistakes.
Yep. I think Russell is more of that than Jameis is.
All right. Final thoughts. I know we're not going to be able to get you back on the program till next week. We've already talked about we think it'll be a low-scoring, tug-of-war kind of game coming down to the final minutes. You know Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord knows he played for him as Super Bowl championship team in New Orleans. A lot of people in Denver are giving him heat, saying that, you know what? Maybe the offensive game plan was too conservative against the Jets last week, and maybe that's one of the reasons they look so bad. I don't know. Is he the kind of guy? And I know Sean from his time at the Giants, but that goes way back. Is he the kind of guy who's going to suddenly get more brazen with Bo Nix as his quarterback? I like Bo Nix, but Bo Nix is a guy who plays a cerebral, efficient game. He is not a gunslinger.
No, he's not. But I'm not even thinking about for offense for Denver. Even though Sean Payton, he's calling plays, right? He's the play caller, right?
Yeah, I think he does call plays.
At least he definitely oversees the play caller.
Well, yeah, sure. If he's not calling him, he's influencing him a lot. I believe he's actually calling him. He's one of those guys who does.
I'm thinking about Sean Payton's mindset going against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Like that's for me, I played for the 3 Parcells coaches, right? The Parcells lineage, Coughlin, Payton, and Belichick, right?
Yes. When
they face rookie quarterbacks, they have a different approach. Whatever you've seen on film prior, you're not going to see against his rookie quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about rookie quarterbacks. It's almost like they take like a personal vendetta against them. It's like, I will not allow a rookie quarterback to beat me. I'm an experienced Super Bowl winning coach. I'm telling you, it's a different mindset with these older guys, and it's the Parcell guys. The guys that's won Super Bowls underneath and left Parcells and won Super Bowls.
So Peyton's going to take it personally.
Yes, he is. He's going to come at Dart with everything that he has.
All right.
He's going to be different and multiple on defense. So that's why I'm saying about Dart. Like Dart, you like he's going to make some mistakes, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to play clean games. The clean games is for me is going to be the anomalies, But what I do know, he is an absolute playmaker. I think at season's end, if you're going to say anything about him, maybe say make mistakes, or he said he's maybe offensive rookie, whatever you want to say, everybody's going to be a consensus agreement, say that kid's a playmaker right there, and he needs to make some plays against this tough Denver defense.
We'll see if he does, folks. That'll do it for this edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. And once again, we're coming to you from the Giants podcast studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. For Jonathan Casillas, I'm Paul Dottino. We'll be back for another edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope to see you then.